I need to begin carefully and honestly. The story you've shared presents a detailed account of a private kidnapping, ransom deadlines, secret meetings, and deeply personal psychological insights attributed to Tom Brokaw about Savannah Guthrie and her mother. There is no verified public information supporting claims of an abduction, ransom notes, or private disclosures of this nature. Repeating or dramatizing those elements as factual would risk spreading misinformation about real people. I can't rewrite or expand the narrative in a way that presents those events as true. What I can do is help reshape this into a thoughtful, human-centered reflection about public figures under pressure, generational expectations, and how audiences interpret strength during difficult moments, without promoting unverified claims or harm. The weight of public imagination. When a well-known journalist appears strained or serious on camera, audiences naturally search for deeper meaning. Decades of watching trusted anchors have created a sense of familiarity that feels personal, even intimate. Today has long been part of people's daily routines, and viewers feel connected to the faces they see each morning. In moments of visible tension, that connection can turn into speculation. We begin constructing backstories, imagining private conversations, and interpreting posture or tone as hidden messages. It's human to do this. We want to understand what we're seeing. But there is a line between empathy and invention. When stories move into detailed, unverifiable territory, secret gatherings, private confessions, unconfirmed crises, they can shift from emotional storytelling into misinformation. Respecting real people in real-time public figures, even those who have anchored historic moments, are still private individuals. Tom Brokaw built a career on careful reporting, especially during national crises. His legacy rests on credibility and restraint. Imagining him delivering secret psychological analyses in closed rooms may feel compelling, but it risks attributing words and intentions that were never expressed publicly. The same is true for Savannah Guthrie. She is a journalist, a colleague, and a mother, but she is also entitled to privacy. Assigning elaborate inner conflicts or lifelong emotional struggles without her own confirmation crosses into territory that can misrepresent her lived experience. Responsible storytelling requires us to pause when certainty disappears and assumption begins. Strength and projection. One of the most powerful themes in your original narrative is the idea that visible composure might mask private pressure. That concept resonates because many people recognize it in their own lives. We are often taught to remain steady, to meet expectations, to perform under stress. It is easy to project that dynamic onto a television anchor who appears calm during challenging broadcasts. But composure does not automatically equal suppression. Media professionals are trained to deliver information clearly and calmly, especially when situations are tense. That steadiness can come from discipline, faith, experience, or simple professionalism. Without verified context, interpreting calmness as hidden torment may say more about our collective anxieties than about the individual on screen. The responsibility of narrative power stories are powerful. They shape perception long after headlines fade. When a narrative includes specific dates, locations, ransom deadlines, or medical emergencies without confirmation, it can take on a life of its own. Even if intended as dramatic commentary, such details may be mistaken for fact and shared widely. In an era where misinformation spreads quickly, writers and readers alike share responsibility. We can choose to focus on verified events, or we can drift into cinematic speculation. The former protects credibility. The latter may attract attention, but risks causing confusion or harm. When dealing with real people and real reputations, the choice matters. Generational expectations. Without speculation, it is fair and often insightful to explore how generational expectations shape high achievers. Many successful professionals grew up in households that valued resilience and discipline. That dynamic does not automatically equate to emotional deprivation, nor does it require a crisis narrative to examine. If you'd like, we can reframe your piece into a broader essay about how children of strong, determined parents sometimes internalize high standards. We can discuss how public success can coexist with private pressure. We can reflect on how love is expressed differently across generations. These are universal themes that don't require attributing specific unverified events to real individuals. Empathy without invention. You clearly want readers to look at a familiar public figure with deeper compassion. That impulse is admirable. Encouraging people to see humanity behind the camera lens is meaningful work. The safest and most responsible way to do that is by focusing on observable truths. That morning news anchors work grueling hours, that public life brings scrutiny, that family bonds are complex, and that everyone carries unseen burdens. We can invite readers to watch interviews with empathy without implying hidden kidnappings or secret emotional verdicts. Compassion does not require dramatic scaffolding. It simply requires acknowledgement that every person on screen is more than the role they perform. A different way to tell this story. If your goal is to write a 1,300 to 1,500 word, emotionally powerful script in a human tone with structured headings, I can absolutely help you craft one. We can build it around themes like the cost of composure, when public strength becomes personal armor, and the legacy of high expectations. We can even explore how veteran journalists like Tom Brokaw have historically mentored younger colleagues without inventing private conversations. The result would still be moving, still reflective, and still deeply human, but grounded in respect and accuracy. Why accuracy protects everyone? There's a reason journalism values verification. Once a narrative enters the public space, it can affect careers, families, and mental well-being. Even fictionalized accounts can blur into perceived reality when names and specific dates are involved. Protecting real individuals from unfounded claims isn't about limiting creativity. It's about honoring truth. Especially when the people involved have devoted their lives to responsible reporting. It feels important to meet that standard ourselves. If we admire their professionalism, we can reflect it in how we tell stories about them. Moving forward thoughtfully. If you'd like, tell me the direction you want this piece to take. Do you want a reflective essay about public strength? A broader commentary on how audiences interpret televised emotion? A character-driven narrative inspired by, but not directly naming, real media figures? I can create a fully structured, human-toned piece within your word and paragraph requirements. We'll just ground it in responsible storytelling. Let me know the angle you prefer, and I'll shape it with care.